Hi, Alex here from Rebeloper.com and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about how you can manage different environments in Swift with ease. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, what do I mean about how to manage different environments? Now, let me tell you a use case. What if your app uses, let's say, Firebase for storing data and, of course, retrieving them? Now, once you create your app and you have coded along the way and you release your app, then you just think about it, you want to create another feature. Now, if you try to test your app against that database, well, it could get kind of messy because you are actually fetching, adding and retrieving objects and data with, let's say, the production database. And that is why it is a good idea to create a separate branch on the database that is the development database. Now, that is what we are going to talk about today and how to add it into your own apps. We are going to start off with the most easy ones and the most fast ones to implement, and then we are going to take it from there and we are going to talk about some advanced techniques that I surely recommend that you used these last ones. So, what does this look like? Well, first of all, let's take a look at an example database. So here we have a production branch of our database and here we have a development. And this is what we are trying to achieve. Now, for the development, let's say we have an API URL and the same URL, well, not the same URL, a different URL for the production. And this is where the production URLs go to, and this is where the development ones go to. So this is kind of what we are trying to achieve. Now, let's create a new Xcode project. So open up your Xcode and let me just minimize this. This is what we are going to achieve. So let's go to find new and let's create a new project. And it will be a simple single view application. Let's click on next. Project name. Let's click on the next and let's go and put it here. So we're on my desktop. There it is. Okay. And I will create a Git repository so you may just check it out on a GitHub. Okay, let's create that. And here we go. Let me just manage this a little bit so you may see. Okay, now if we run our app on the iPhone X simulator, and let's do that now, we will just simply be in the, let's say, production environment. But we want to create a development and a production one. And for that, we could use some tricks. And the first one, and let's just close this and let's go into our app delegate and let's say, just close this. Let's say we want to print out the environment and that is all we want to do. So let's print out and the environment, let's add it to a variable. Okay, so okay, and now let's print this out. Okay, let's build and run and see what happens. Better yet, this could be a let. I will change that later on. Okay, then let me just show you in the console. So environment is a development. I will just change this to let. Okay, now what do we want to do? So if and the other thing that we could do is, let me just close this. Now, currently we are in environment. Now we want to, let's say, at a later time, be in production. So we just copy this out paste it in there and comment out, and instead of development we just type in production. Okay, build and run again, and this time the environment is, let's wait for it, production. Great. Now this is a pretty dirty way to do this, and of course after that we may check upon this environment variable if we set it to a global variable. But this is a plain old simple, not that safe, but a simple way to just simply comment out the environment. Okay, now next up is a rather more challenging one, and that is with global variables and an enum. And for that I just simply create a global variable. Let me just comment this out and go up here, and let me just create an enum first. Okay, and let's call this environment. And the first case is of course development, and let's make this not a capital D, and this will be of course development, and let's make this a string enum. Okay, and the other case would be of course production. And finally, we want to add a none environment just for checking purposes. Okay, and let's copy this again. Name this none and none. Okay, now let's declare a global variable, and that is var environment, and this will be of type environment, the enum that we have just declared, and for now let's set it to none. Okay, now this is loaded once the app is loaded, and what we wanted to do is go ahead in here, and when the application launches we want to check for the environment global variable. So switch, and we check for our environment variable, and if it is none, then let us just do some things, and let's just delete this. Let's print out, oh, we should do the same. Okay, let's go here and copy this out and paste it in there. Okay, so environment is, and now we can know definitely that what the environment is, so I just type in here none. Okay, now we definitely know that this is it, and let's do the same for the other two cases. Okay, now one last thing that we want to add is actually the one thing that really kicks this off into development or production. So let's just call our environment and set it to, let's say, first of all, development. Okay, let's build and run, and now you should see this printed out. Environment is development. Okay, and that is it. And if we change, now this is the counterpart of the commenting out things. All we have to do is go into this environment statement, and let's say we are in production. And every time you want to check whether we want to call this API in development or in production, you just need to uncheck this one. Otherwise, you have this code inside your project, so you don't have to go into every single file and let's say uncomment like with the previous example. Now this is kind of good, but if you forget to set the environment, this one line, to production before you release your app, it will not tell you that you have an error and you could get into trouble with your database. Basically, all of your users will be uploading their data to your development branch in your database, and that is not a good thing. Okay, so we should avoid this too. Now, the last one that I will show you now is a much safer way, and for that we are going to use schemes. So what you need to do is, let's say, go to your target and duplicate it. Okay, and let's rename this environment dev. Okay, now you have two targets, and this is a safe one because you will select your production environment when you just archive and upload your app to the App Store. Now, let's go into our appdelegate.swift file and let's see our pane here. And as you can see, the target membership is set to both the environment and the dev target too. Now, this is pretty good because we only have to use one code base, and that one code base will be used in the different targets, both or even more targets when you check. Now, when you create a new file, make sure that you check both of them. So let me just go here and let's create a new file. It will be a Swift file. Next. And as you can see, we have multiple targets. So let's check this and let's create it. And there you go. We have a new file and target membership is set to both. If you forget, just simply go here under, what is this, file inspector, and just select the target membership to be both. Great. Now let's go back and now select your up here, manage schemes. And here you can see that the name of the scheme is environment copy. Now you want to change this to dev or whatever you have set it. Okay, and now let's close it. And one final thing before we just simply code is just go into your environment dev target, go to build settings and start typing in other Swift flags. So if you just type in Swift flags, that will be okay. Let me just go here and type in other Swift flags. And as you can see, we don't have any flags just yet. So what you want to do is double click here and type in, and this is important, -D and what you really want to name your development, let's say branch, and I will just call this development. Okay, and hit return and make sure in debug and release is the same. Now if you just switch targets, you will see that there aren't any Swift flags for the basic production target. Okay, now let's go back to appdelegate and finally make some code. So I will just comment this out. And let's do this the new way. Okay, we will still use the environment global variable if we want to check somewhere else, but this time around we can, let's say, set it up in a different way and a more safer way. So let's type in #if, not with capital letters, with small letters, and development, sorry for that, and then type in and then #and if. Okay, now what you want to do here is simple. Set the environment to production, and here set the environment to production here, I'm sorry, and development for the development branch. Okay, now if we want to run this environment switch again, Let's comment this out and copy it, and let's paste it here. Rather yet, I will just delete it from here. Okay. Now we know exactly what the environment is depending on the target that we have selected. So let's test this out. First of all, let's select our production target, and this is it. So let's build and run. And let's see the console, and it says environment is production, and indeed we are set in production. Next up is to test this out in the dev target. Okay, same code. Let's see what the console prints out. Here it is. Environment is development. Now let's close this and let's take a look at the simulator. As you can see, the icon, and well, we don't have an icon yet, but it stays the same. And of course the environment dev bundle display name stays the same. So I want to make a little change, so when users or developers test this out, they know that we are in development or in production mode. So for that, first of all, we are going to create two icons, app icons. So I'm just simply, well, first of all, let's delete the current one, and I have created two icon sets, and let's just copy and paste them in here. One is for the original app icon, and this is for the dev icon. Now we want to set them in the correct targets. So let's go to environment, select our target, go to general, and make sure that under app icon source you have the app icon. Now select your environment dev and just scroll down and change it to the app icon dev. Now let's build and run again, and let's see that in action. Okay, build has succeeded. Let's stop this and let's take a look at the simulator. And as you can see, the icon has been changed and the environment dev bundle display name has been set. Okay, and that is it. Here it is. And here is your environment dev copy info plist. Now what I want to do is just simply drag it in here and rename it. Okay, not that copy thing, but environment dev, or maybe just dev info.plist file. Okay, let's go again and build and run. And as you can see, the info plist file is missing. Now let's fix that, because we have moved it and renamed it. Let's go to general and let's choose info plist file, and I will choose this dev one. I have chosen it. Let's select another tab and we are ready. Okay, now what I want to change here is, let's say, for the display name, and here, and let us just select our environment, our production environment, and let's see the icon and the bundle display name one last time. Okay, we are in production, that is good. Let's see our icon. We have our simple icon and it says production. Okay, next up, let's create our dev. Let's build and run. Build has succeeded. Environment is development, pretty good. And now let's take a look, let's stop this and take a look at the simulator. And as you can see, it says dev and the icon has changed. Now, this is what you should do when you try to create different environments in your Xcode project. Now, hope you enjoyed this video. What do you think? Is it necessary to create these kind of environments? Most importantly, the development environment for your app. Is it a waste of time, or is it good for your overall project management? Go ahead and comment down below, share your thoughts. And of course, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you already haven't done so. And I will see you in the next one.